If you are watching this video, you have likely already seen the original video showing this game off, and this is the in-depth tutorial on how this game works. So, start off with, I'll check out the controllers. So right here, this controls the thing that turns it left, turns the player left. It detects the item, and then it executes a player, and it tests for one specific block under it. And then if that block is found, it tests for it to the left as well, underneath it to the left. And if that's found, it teleports it one to the left, and then it kills the item. The same thing goes over here, except for it's replaced with the right. It's replaced with the right, so it's the exact same thing, but for the right only. This one controls how the Pong ball moves. It tests for a dried kelp block underneath it, and if that's correct, and if that works, it moves it 0.19 blocks forward. And this chain controls, as it says, bounce negative 180. So it tests for the player stands as the Pong ball. So the Pong ball tests for the player stand. And if that is correct, if it's within a radius of 1, if it's like right next to it, it executes. It teleports it behind it, facing itself, I guess. So it teleports the Pong ball negative a block 0.25, a little bit extra, so that it covers. So that when if this happens to move forward in the same tick, I think it covers it, so it doesn't do a repeat. And then teleports it facing. So it teleports it. So this teleports it backwards, and then this teleports at the same place. It rotates it, and then this one sets cobblestone right here, which gets broken by this command block into the chest, and it's cloned over there, so it tells you your score. So that adds 1 to the score, basically. Okay, this detects, see if the Pong ball right here is on smooth stone, and if it is, it teleports it forward. That way, so we'll never get stuck. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get stuck on the stone. Okay. That chat's kind of annoying. So this one tests if the Pong ball is on stone brick, which is, there's one layer of stone brick under this, as you can see. One row under there. So test for stone brick. And if there's a stone brick under it, it tests for dirt, one in front of it and below it. So like, let's say the armor stands sitting here, it tests for dirt in that position. If there's dirt in that position, then it will move. Then it will be executed properly. So that's, yeah. So then if there's dirt there, it will go 180. It will rotate, and then it will test for a stone brick in front of it. And if there's stone brick in front of it, it will move it 1. So basically, if it's on this, it spins around and tests if there's stone brick like right there or something. And it'll move. So let me make sure that's on the stone brick before it moves. Don't know why. I think that's redundant right there. So this one, if it's on brick, it will test for the stone brick again. And if it's there and there's dried kelp in front of it, it will move it forward. So if it's that way, it'll move forward. And if it's this way, I think it will rotate actually. Yeah, no, it will still move forward. Anyway, if it's this is another version. Test if it's on stone brick again, and it tests for dirt 2 that way, and if it is, it'll teleport it. So if there's dirt there, the guy's here, standing there, and dirt's right there, it'll know that. It will use that information, and it will flip it backwards, and then it will move it forward. Or test for the stone brick again. Make sure the stone brick there, and it will move it forward. Okay, now this one. So all these commands, they just test for, or what they do is they all code for the white square on top. Because underneath this, there's just a armor stands. That's not really set properly, but there's an armor stand right there. So the first one, it sets block concrete right above it. And this one checks that there's concrete on the player. Does the same thing right there. This one tests for if it fills the concrete to the side of it black, so it makes sure that there's no white concrete next to it, so it fills it black in these spaces. So there's all black concrete that will go around right there. And it's the same. I'm not sure if that was right or left or not. I think that was in front of it. Anyway, it tests for the concrete around. It fills the concrete like in a small area like that and a half-ish area around it, because sometimes to account for the fact that the armor stand's not always centered on the block. So it fills white concrete with black concrete. And this one does the same, but it fills the blue concrete with the coal block, because as you can see right here, that's the block that's used to indicate where you can move for that. And they just do like, yeah, that's what they do. Okay, and over here, this is the randomizer event thing. So these are, so if they get a random signal from this thing, it will move the pong ball. It will make sure it's on thread kelp, and it will move it to the right. It tests for make sure there's some in front of it and some to the right. If it's on, no, make sure it's on. Yeah, but I can't speak. Make sure that there's kelp right below the guy. So pretend this is kelp. It's like, oh, there's kelp here. That's check 1, good. And then checks 2. There's kelp here, and there's kelp right there. I can teleport to the right. So it moves to the right. And this one is the same thing, but for the left. So if there's kelp there, it moves to the left. As you can see. You can check for it in chat as well. It's the same thing, basically. And one show again. Okay, so this just places the board black. So like it redraws the board to be black. But it only replaces concrete, so it doesn't affect these coal blocks right there. Yeah, it makes sure that the board's black. So in case you get any weird glitches, like sometimes when there's weird glitches where you could have like, the thing be like right there, and it wouldn't change colors. Like right there, it's diagonal from it because the armor stand's actually right here. The check doesn't really apply. So if it moves diagonal or moves fast enough, it won't change it. So that's just there to make sure it stays black. Okay. So those are all the main controls that move the armor stands about, and code for the collisions and stuff. This one's not necessary. This one is one that I skipped, but all this does was set make sure that the Pong thing would face it, because I was originally going to have the bounce be like diagonal as well, but it didn't work that way with the code. It just didn't work very well for some reason. Or I guess because the way the radius works is it's different. So the radius would be different if it was here than if it was right in front of it, because the armor stand, I guess if I were to place an armor stand down, an armor stand doesn't take up a full block. If you look at its base, it's like only a small amount of the block, so I can punch it there, and there's no armor stand box there, so it's not a full block, which makes everything a little bit more complicated as well. Anyway, okay, over here. So this one is the one that codes for the reset stand item. So when you throw this item on the ground, this will demonstrate right here. It kills the stands and resets them. So yep. So checks for stands, checks for it right here, and then it kills the player, kills the Pong ball, and then it spawns the armor stands with the name player, and it spawns an armor stand with the name Pong ball, and they're facing each other. This is important that they're actually like in the same row of blocks, because next after the spawns, right there, this one. It kills the item, so we don't get duplicate, so it doesn't keep killing the stands. It kills the item right there, and then it makes sure that so it teleports them to itself, but facing the other armor stand. So that one faces player, and this one makes sure player is facing bomb ball. So if they're not facing each other, they could be like this because they spawn in. I believe they spawn in like this or something, directional. So if I can have them face the player or the two things, so they're always in sync. They always move each other. Okay, so this one summons the stands. So let's say they killed the stands, but I forgot. Like, let's pretend there's an armor stand here still. Or there was an armor stand here, and there wasn't one there, rather. It will resummon them back to this right spot. So it's basically the same code. Or it's the same code, except for those two blocks. These two blocks at the end. Or, wait. The two blocks in the front, rather. Because they don't kill the stands, they just summon these stands. Okay, so this one on pause. So it tests for the on pause item. And when it finds it, it tells it that it's going to be redstone block placed at -55 for 94, which is one of these controllers. And it turns on the controllers that need to be turned on, like con front, this one. Right here, yeah, it does this one. It turns on the Pong ball moving. So then that's not really a big deal right there. It just, these are all the stuff that need to have redstone blocks or air. Because like this one needs to have air right in front of it to unlock the hopper for the randomizer to go. So that the Pong ball can move back and forth to add a little bit of challenge to it. And everything else is the same type of thing copied over. The last one, I believe, is a redstone block right here to make sure the board is all white so that you don't get any glitches. Like that white block that was in the middle of it. So if I was to say, like, put white concrete in the wrong spot, this will just like make sure that the board is cleared. I'll just make sure it's all nice and dandy before it restarts, because you get a clean board every single time. It's really useful. Okay. So that was pause and on pause. So pause, make sure it all stops. So let's see. If I on pause it, you'll see some of the command blocks update and the thing starts moving, like, because they get redstone blocks. And then if I pause it, it does the opposite right there. Okay, and yeah, right here is the reset score. So reset score, what reset score does is it tests for the item. Reset score it has to be in quotations, otherwise it would only detect, otherwise there'd be an error because it doesn't detect the space. So it tests for the reset score item right here, that item, and then it clones this chest up top that says score on it, and it's facing the right way. It clones that with nothing in it over here to this thing. That. So like this would be empty. And then it kills the score. Right here, this is the one that destroys cobblestone when it gets in there. Because cobblestone gets spawned in there, it immediately destroys it. It goes into the hopper into here, and then this command block clones it right there, right where the square thing's supposed to be. And that's it. That's the entirety of the Pong game explained. If you want anything in further detail, let me know. Please don't copy this, I guess, without crediting me or like changing it in the bench or something, because this took me a little while actually. It took me like 4 or 5 hours to just get everything working and like making it all work properly. Because command blocks can be a little fiddly. Like you can see, like one of my attempts are here. The face that player, it was like it didn't work, so I had to move on to. And this, I had a lot of trouble with the bouncing part because it would just like the armor stand would spin because like the command blocks were going at the wrong time or something. So I had to fix that. I was doing it just wrong. It was kind of annoying. So yeah, that's it. And this is just to take me back to my hub using another function pack that I made that's on my YouTube channel somewhere in my hundreds of videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Have fun with the rest of your life, because I sure know you will.